built in 1988. This, on your screen, is South Garda karting. Welcome to one of the most famous race circuits in the world. The 30th anniversary of this amazing racetrack that sits right in the centre of the karting universe here in northern Italy, the WSK Open Cup. Welcome to wherever you are watching us from all around the world for the inaugural event, the inaugural running of the WSK Open event at this historic circuit. My name is Ian Sylvester and I'm bringing you our coverage of our 4 finals this afternoon. 225 drivers from 46 nations. This amazing track, this spectacular new event. And in a few moments, we will be underway with the first of our finals. There are the drivers on screen. This is OK Junior. We started with 67 drivers. We're down to the final 34. And at the end of qualifying, at the end of the pre-finals, it's the Russians who dominated the pre-finals this morning. And they dominate. They lock out the front row of the grid. On screen, you can see Kirill Small for the Ward Racing team. To the left of your screen is Nikita Bedrin. Both racing Tony Karts. They both won their respective pre-finals and they lock out the front row of the grid here this afternoon. It is a one-round event. It is the 6th event of the WSK Open Cup. Second row of the grid, that is Luca Griggs from Pagham in southern England. Sits right behind the Russian driver, his mechanic Claudio Dionisi, who in the past has worked for such drivers, or virtually all of them, including Mick Schumacher, who he took to the Junior World Championship vice position in 2014. Claudio working for Nikita Bedrin for the Tony Kart Racing team, as the beautiful Italian grid girls, as ever, leave the circuit. And we're just a few moments away from the start of the first of our 4 races here this afternoon. This is the part of the circuit that has been extended in recent years, brings us up to a track distance of 1,200 metres exactly. Griggs right behind him, Gabriel Mini from Sicily, the reigning WSK Supermasters Series champion, not only from last year in the mini class, but also this year in the junior category for the Paralin team. Kirill Small on pole position from Yekaterinburg in Moscow, the city that is hosting the FIFA World Cup at this very moment. The Russian, the centre of the sporting world at the moment. But right here, South Garda karting, the centre of the karting universe. We're ready to race our first final. The Russians lock out the front row of the grid. We'll take a look at it for you. Small for Ward Racing, the Swedish team run by the legendary Joachim Ward. On pole position with Nikita Bedrin on the outside of the front row of the grid. Kai Aski, Luca Griggs, the Brits on the second row. Then it's Thomas Tambrinke, Gabriel Mini, Sebastian Montoya and Taylor Barnard on row 4. We go back to Zach O'Sullivan alongside Paula Ron, who's had a sensational 2018. Vila, Conrad Larson, Josh Dufak, Gravland, Aman Spinner, Rafael Camara. He's the only boy from Brazil racing here this weekend. He starts on 17 alongside Enzo Trulli. And it's Robert DeHaan and Connor Zilic, the American. Christian Ho being mechanicked this weekend by Pablo Dominguez, the Spaniard who in the past has worked with the likes of Callum Bradshaw, taking the Brit to pole position at last year's World Championship. Christian Ho, the Singaporean, on the 11th row of the grid in the CRG. Jamie Day from Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. He's in this field as well on the 14th row of the grid, alongside his Energy Kart teammate, the Polish driver Marcel Kuch. We're ready for a start. It's a one-off showdown. It's a shootout here in northern Italy. The WSK Open Cup here at South Garda Karting. 17 laps, just over 20 kilometres of this amazing racetrack. The junior class, this circuit hosted the Junior World Cup way back in 1990. Another chapter of history is about to be written, but probably not by Nikita Petrin after that disastrous start from the outside of the front row of the grid. The second Russian is back to sixth, being attacked by Eduardo Villa. The race leader is Kirill Small, second place. And third are the two Ricky Flynn Motorsport team drivers, Kai Aski, Thomas ten Brink, the Dutchman. Back into fourth spot, a great start by Sebastian Montoya, the Colombian. It's been super impressive here this weekend. Inside the top five after just the opening half lap here at South Garda Karting. This is the first final of the afternoon. Kirill Small for Ward Racing leads the way. The three-time World Championship winning team, Ricky Flynn Motorsport, in second and third with Kai Aski, Thomas ten Brinker, Montoya in P4, ahead of Zach O'Sullivan. Bedron crosses the line in position sixth after the opening lap. Then it's Mini Villa, Ron Griggs, a disastrous start for the boy from Pagham in southern England. Rounds out the first lap in 10th place ahead of Amand. Then it's Menino do Brasil, Rafael Camara, the Cosmic team driver, head of Lawson, Taylor Barnard, the Team Rosberg Kart Republic team driver. A disastrous start also for him ahead of Grappler, Truly, Ho, Spinner, Genadese, and the Dutchman, Robert De Haan, who rounds out the 20. Down the inside, Thomas ten Brinker and Kai Aski, they trade places. They still run second and third, but now it's the Dutchman in second. Kai back to third. Montoya one spot off the podium here this afternoon. We go back to Zach O'Sullivan, being hounded by Bedron, the Russian. Zach goes defensive. Bedron, we know he's got superb speed in the Vortex-powered Tony kart. Did a similar job in the pre-final. He was back in this very position and fought his way back, picked them off one by one to win the pre-final. Can he do the same? Can he repeat in the final here this afternoon? And it looks as though he's already got by O'Sullivan. The Tony kart's running 4 and 5. Montoya and O'Sullivan. There is Bedron. Thomas ten Brinker, Kai Aske on screen. Small slips away back to Montoya. Then it's Bedron, Gabriel Mini in the Paralin, powered by the Perilla, ahead of O'Sullivan. Ron Griggs has picked up one further place. He's up into P9. On the podium 7 days ago in the Euro Champs at Ampfing in Germany is Luca Griggsy Griggs, driving for the 2011 World Cup champion, the Brit, his countryman Jordan Lennox Lamb, for the brand new Lennox racing team. The Vortex-powered Express karts. Look for Griggs to pick them off for over the remaining 14 laps. Still it is ten Brinker and Aske in second spot. The gap to the leader, half a second. There's Mini going through in the Paralin. Kamara in the Cosmic, ahead of Barnard. Lawson, Villa. Not a good start for him in the TB kart. Aske on the tail of his teammate, the Brit and the Dutchman. Ten Brink looks over his shoulder. He will be able to hear the Vortex engine of his teammate. Kai does the same. It's 0.5 of a second between Kai and Sebastian. Montoya has been super impressive and aggressive, but clean young talent, we have to say. Obviously learned a lot off his father, Juan Pablo, here at the circuit, supporting his boy just 7 days after he raced in the biggest event in the world of motor racing, the Le Mans 24-hour race. Great to have Juan Pablo here among the F1 drivers at the circuit, including Emerson Fittipaldi, who's here this weekend. Luca Baduera, of course, Jarno Trulli, and of course Juan Pablo, who nervously watches on from the grandstand. His boy, Sebastian Montoya, the Colombian-American, lives in Florida. He's got the Colombian flag beside his name. The factory green machine, one step off the podium. Down the hill they go. The race has settled down. This is the 6th lap. Mini coming under pressure. from Bedrin. In sixth place, can't pick him off this easily. Then Nikita Bedrin. Kirill Small from Yekaterinburg in Russia. We know the focus of the sporting world is on the former Soviet Union this weekend. The FIFA World Cup taking place in Kirill Small's home country. Plenty of Russians racing here this weekend, and one of them leads the way, Kirill Small, for the Ward Racing team, but he is being caught by Thomas ten Brinker, the Ricky Flynn Motorsport team drivers. They're smart, like the peloton in the Tour de France. They are working together. They're catching the Russian and catching him fast. The gap is just 0.2 of a second. They come down the hill, Mini fourth. Bedrin, Montoya's lost out a couple of places on that last lap. Watch the RFM team drivers. Just got a glimpse of O'Sullivan and Griggs, the two Brits going through in 7th and 8th. End of lap number 7. It is still Kirill Small, the gap 0.2 of a second. There's Mini. Montoya fading back, a problem for one of the RFM team cars. That was Conrad from Denmark, slipping outside the top 10. Indeed, a problem for Montoya. We've lost Sebastian Montoya. Sebastian Montoya off screen has had a moment, has not yet crossed the line. Kirill Small continues to lead from 10 Brinker. Watch Mini in 4th spot. Down the inside goes Nikita Bedrin. Bedrin has taken the Italian. The Russians run 1 and 4. Bedrin was 6th, was 5th. He's into 4th. He's one step off the podium. Griggs 7th, O'Sullivan 8th. Kamara, Aman Barnard, another Brit. There's 4 Union Jacks on the timing screen inside the top 10. Then we go to Conrad from Denmark, Eduardo Villa. Not since Ben Horstman, the Australian, won the Oceania Championships back in 1995. In the TB kart have we had the famous green manufacturer this high up in international kart racing. Eduardo Villa has been a star. He's just outside the top 10. He was superb all weekend. A lot of work for Eduardo to make the podium. He's just ahead of Sebastian Gravlin, Enzo Trulli, Spinner. Meanwhile, we go back to the front. Kirill Small still doing the job. Winner of the first round of the Supermaster Series, back in the freezing cold. February, Adria to start the season as the field pours through. There's Trulli, Spinner, Dahan in the CRGs. Marti, Chenadeze, Megatonif, Connor, Zilic. He was so impressive at the Rock Cup International Final at this very circuit in October of last year. Jamie Day from Dubai in the United Arab Emirates in the Energy Kart. He's ahead of Resico, Pizzi, Zhivnov. Enzo Shanti from Houston, Texas rounds out the top 25. Ahead of Kuch, also in an Energy, Dimitrov, Norton Andreasen. And I can confirm we have lost Montoya. Sebastian Montoya has driven superbly all weekend. He joins Ron, the Estonian, Santiago Teresini, Christian Ho, the Singaporean, and the German Josh Stufek as the retirements for this race. Bad luck for Sebastian, who deserves so much better. Focus for the green team turns to his teammate, Bedrin, who's one stop off the podium. There's 342, the TB kart going through. Villa, Megatonif 361 in the Formula K kart. Jamie Day goes defensive. The 331 Energy also fighting there with Marcel Kuch. 6.5 laps remaining. OK Junior final, a tactical battle. The Ricky Flynn Motorsport team drivers. Thomas ten Brinker, only his 4th race with the Ricky Flynn Motorsport team. From Zeddam, just outside Amsterdam in Holland. Running second, Kai Askey, who grew up racing at the KF1 circuit, the Kart Race Speedway in Singapore, down on the equator, has been superb in 2018, shadows his teammate. Needs to make a move fast because Nikita Bedrin is coming fast. Gabriel Mini, P5, fastest second sector of the entire race for the Sicilian. There he is at the top of your screen in the Paralympic kart. Askey needs to make a move sooner or later. Thomas ten Brink, he needs to catch the leaders. The gap is 0.4 of a second of the leader, single I should say. because Kirill Small looks like taking victory. Not only that, the other Russian on screen now, Nikita Bedrin in the factory green machine. Tony Kart Pravale not more than 20 kilometres from this circuit. Nikita is coming and coming hard. OTK run 1, 2, 3 and 4. Also 6 with Griggs. Split by the Paralin of Gabriel Mini, who dominated the Supermaster Series, winning that title in Sano in April of this year. Here comes Bedrin. Will he throw it up the inside? Not quite close enough this time. There's Taylor Barnard going through in the Team Rosberg Kart Republic entry. Bedrin all over the back. Here's a passing opportunity into the Bridgestone hairpins. Askey slides wide. He'll be vulnerable. Here comes the ruthless racing Russian. Bedrin in position number 4. Shadows the back of Kyaski. Kyaski, will he stay on the podium? Can he defend from the Russian? Nikita Bedrin. Still not quite close enough. Ricky Flynn Motorsport, world champions in 2014 and 2015 with Enem Ahmed, Lando Norris, and of course Logan Sargent, who became the first American to win the World Championship in 2015 since Lake Speed at Le Mans way back in 1978. The super professional British outfit, Ricky Flynn Motorsport, running second and third. Bedrin not quite close enough this time. Ricky himself, we should add, English Formula Renault champion a quarter of a century ago, way back in 1991. He runs a brilliant team these days. He's running in second and third though. And it looks like it will be Joachim Ward's team who will take a victory unless the Dutchman Thomas or the Brit Kite can do something magical in the remaining 3 laps. He's truly going through ahead of Dahan, Megatunev, Marti, Chenadeze, Resico, Connor, Zilic, Jamie Day, Zhivnov. The Russian in position 23, that's Andre, ahead of Pizzi and Enzo Shanti. And speaking of Russians, we go back to the front, and with 2 laps now remaining, Kirill Small looking like taking the victory. Bedrin, will he even get up on the podium? Griggs is catching also. Griggs, as we mentioned, on the podium in Anfing, Germany 7 days ago, almost to the minute. He's right on the tail of the Sicilian Gabriel Mini in the Paralin kart, driving for the Lennox Racing Team. Griggs, not close enough. There is Camara. Oh, Menino do Brazil inside the top 10. The boy from Brazil, from grid 17, from Recife, now into position 7. Down through the turn 5 chicane, time is running out. Ward Racing look like taking the win. Down the inside goes Bedrin. Nikita up onto the podium for the Tony Kart Racing Team. The response from Kyaski. Watch Griggs on the outside, on the inside of Mini. Griggs all over the back of the Italian. They start the final lap. The gap is 0.7 of a second from Kirill Small to Thomas Tambrinke. Ricky Flynn Motorsport now second and 4th. Bedrin in 3rd. This is the final lap. Griggs tries the high line. Griggs around the outside. Luca Griggs, 1 step off the podium. Mini on the inside of the Englishman. They touch. Oh, Griggs and Mini are out. On the final lap, Mini abandons his kart. Bedrin goes through. Griggs is out. Kirill Small from Yekaterinburg in Russia for the Swedish Ward Racing Team will win the WSK Open Cup here at South Garda Karting. He takes the checkered flag to win from the Dutchman Thomas Tambrinke. Bedrin makes it Russia 1 and 3 here in Italy. 4th Camara, 5 O'Sullivan, Marcus Aman 6th. Griggs, well, he was 500 metres from a podium spot for the 2nd week in a row. The Englishman not classified, neither is Gabriel Mini. A sensational win for the Russians. What a time to be alive if you're from the state that we once knew as the Soviet Union. There's Griggs. Mini down the inside of the Englishman. Bedrin was already through. They go up the hill. They touch up onto 2 wheels. All spectacular. but disastrous for both Gabriele Mini from Sicily in southern Italy and Griggs from Pagham in southern England. They both retire. Kirill Small for Ward Racing. What a drive. You can't say he didn't deserve it. Just brilliant. Ward Racing win. Thomas Tembrinke for Ricky Flynn Motorsports second. And Nikita Bedrin, the Tony Kart Racing team, comes home in position number 3. Fourth place, congratulations, we have to say it. Oh, menino do Brasil, the boy from Brazil, Rafael Camara, Zach O'Sullivan, good drive from the Londoner. He was P5, then it was Aman Taylor Barnard P7, Conrad Kayaski finishing in 9th spot, and Sebastian Gravland rounds out the 10. You can see Griggs classified 26, Mini classified 25, Montoya down there in 30th. After the great start by the Colombian, it all came to naught. His teammate finishing in 3rd on the podium. Ron, also a retirement. Bad luck for Christian Ho, the Singaporean, 33rd, and also a non-finisher. Kirill Small from Yekaterinburg in Russia for the team run by the legendary Joachim Ward. He wins the first ever WSK Open Cup here at South Garda Karting. A spectacular way to start the afternoon. Thomas ten Brinket from Zeddam, Amsterdam in Holland. Just his 4th race with the Ricky Flynn Motorsport team. And he's on the podium. Nikita Bedrin, brilliant for the young Russian. Finishes in position 3. The podium presentation, you are looking at South Garda Karting. This is the WSK Open Cup, the podium for the junior category in just a moment. The drivers just arriving here at the podium. A spectacular way to start the afternoon. Russians, well, what a time to be alive if you are from Russia. The FIFA World Cup at the moment, 2 drivers on the podium here in Italy. A brilliant start to the afternoon. The WSK Open Cup. New drivers, new teams. And a brilliant result here this afternoon. Just waiting for the Vega caps to go on the drivers' heads. The junior podium, the Tony Kart Racing team driver from Russia, 3rd place, Nikita Bedrin. In 2nd place for Ricky Flynn Motorsport from Holland. Let's hear it for Thomas ten Brinket. The Russians are dominating world sport at the moment, and they've dominated this final thanks to this young boy from Yekaterinburg in Russia. For Ward Racing, the winner of the Open Cup, Kirill Small. The 3rd place trophy to Nikita Bedrin of Russia. 2nd place, Thomas ten Brinket from Holland. The first ever winner of the WSK Open Junior Cup from Russia, Kirill Small. As we stand by for the national anthem of Russia. The WSK Open Cup, the podium here for the junior class from Russia. Nikita Bedrin in third place, Thomas Tembrinke, the Dutchman, in second, and Kirill Small, the Russian, wins the first ever edition of this race here at South Garda Karting. This is the podium here at South Garda Karting. The Russian drivers 1 and 3. Kirill Small already had a win at Adria earlier on in the year, and he's won the first ever edition of the WSK Open Cup. Good drive from Nikita Bedrin. Another few laps, and who knows what would have happened. Irrelevant though. Here's the Tony Kart Racing team driver in P3, and Thomas Tembrinke, the Dutchman from Zeddam outside of Amsterdam. Second for the Ricky Flynn Motorsport team. Certainly deserved his place on the podium.